Name, title,
Title,
how
okay.
long you've been in the industry.
Okay. My name is Aisha Watkins. I'm the founder of Women of Project Management, and I've worked in the project management industry for 20 years.
And I think oftentimes we don't have the words, we don't have the toolkit to say, how do I say this, right?
But until I owned my experience and expertise, that was where the shift happened.
Because you just gave yourself the power. You overcame so much of yourself.
It took a long time for them to respect me as the leader because they're not used to a woman being in charge.
My name is Aisha Watkins. I'm the founder of Women of Project Management, and I've worked in the project management industry for 20 years. So for me, my journey was not traditional. For me, I initially thought I was going to be a pharmacist, and so I started out in the doctorate program at Xavier University in New Orleans, and then when Hurricane Katrina hit, I left the doctorate program, and because I was working for Walgreens at the time, I ended up applying for other jobs and landed in their PMO as an IT project coordinator. So that's how I got into the project management industry. I've had a lot of different roles within the project management industry in the last 20 years. I have been an IT coordinator, I've been an IT project manager, I've been a scrum master, I've been a systems analyst, I have been an implementation manager. I've done a lot of things on both the business and the technology side in the healthcare industry. I've also been the director for the Project Management Institute, their director of mentorship.
Hello, I am Dr. Sarita Bond, and I am a digital content management project manager. I've been in the project management industry for about 15 years. Well, there were two people that kind of put me onto the project management industry. One was a coworker who was working full-time and then all of a sudden dropped down to 1 day a week, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm a project manager." I said, "Well, what does that do?" He said, "The same thing you do." Okay. And then my homegirl who used to model for me, she came over my house to get her clothes hemmed, and because I'm a designer too. And she was telling me about project management because she had an Emirates shirt on. And she was like, "Yeah, my homegirl travels the world. We just came from Dubai, da 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 da. And it's project management. It's so easy. It's just a open and a close. That's the project." And I said, "I could do this." So I studied, and that's how I got into it. As a fashion designer, yes, I was a project manager as a fashion designer, but also doing facilities management. I was in the banking industry for about 10 years, so doing like fraud investigations, training, implementation for processes, so all of that, even though technically it was a fraud investigator. And then I became a global campaigns manager for music campaigns. And now I am a digital project manager, so yeah. Oh, and I also used to be a technical writer. So all of that is project management.
My name is Nicole Jones. I am the CEO of the PM Suite, which is a project management consulting company, and I've been in project management for 10 years. Like a lot of my project management friends, I feel like we all pretty much stumble into this industry. I found out about project management by way of being a communication specialist, actually. I was a communication specialist for technology and fintech. And I actually was able to work with different project managers with the different technology releases and realized what you guys do is exactly what I would love to be doing. I didn't even know it was a title for that. Like, how come I didn't know about this in school? So I did basically learned information from them, found out that the company that I was working for actually provided certifications and opportunities for us to actually advance and get a certification in project management at that time. So of course, with that opportunity, it was like, okay, I'm going to take advantage of this. And ever since, I've been in project management, and here I am 10 years later. So starting out, as I made that transition and having the different roles within project management, I was, again, like I said, a communications specialist, found out and got wind of project management. And then within that opportunity of being trained, getting that certification, they also have the opportunity for you to also advance into a project management role within the company. So my first role was as a business project manager. I would say it was more so like as a business coordinator, a project coordinator at the time, just starting out. But it was very helpful for me because it allowed me to get an idea and concepts. From there, I went into an AVP role, a vice president role in project management. I was very ambitious in these particular roles, so as soon as I found out about project management, it just felt like it was natural because it wasn't just a career transition, but I also felt like it was naturally who I am as a person in terms of what I do at home, what I do with my friends. I'm always the natural planner. So AVP was the next role as a business project manager. Switched and pivoted into a different company, became a program manager. Shortly after, became the director of project management. And then from there, I went into a senior technology role because I wanted to get more experience in technology. I had been in fintech for some time, so I wanted to make that pivot. And then from there, I was like, I'm ready to take this show on the road and start my own company and be my own boss. And that's where I am today as a CEO of my own project management consulting company.
Tamara McLemore, CIO, Chief Impact Officer, and I've been in the project management industry for over 20 years. How did I get into project management? It was an accident. Like literally, I got out of college, undergrad, my aunt told me I didn't know anything. She worked for MCI WorldCom at the time, and she was like, look girl, you need to go into technology. That is the next big thing. And so literally that's how I got into project management. I've had every role. I've been a project coordinator, project manager, infrastructure project manager, ERP project manager, global technology project manager, you name it, I've done it.
My name is Bridget Jones. I'm the owner of Bridget Jones Virtual Assistant Services, and I've been in project management for over 12 years. Well, like you've heard before, I was doing project management long before I even knew that's what I was doing. So I was working full-time for a multi-site church. I was doing lots of project management work there, and I parlayed that into a career, a PM career in behavioral health. I've had all kinds of roles. A lot of them don't even sound like project management roles, but I've been the director of operations, I've been project support, I've been a project manager, just all kinds of roles.
My name is Ordana Sargent. I am the general partner of Sargent Collective, and I've been in project management for 15 years. After getting my master's degree, I was speaking with a general manager, an older white gentleman, and he was like, so you're gonna get your PMP next? And I said, my what? And he was like, you know, your project management, that's what you do. I said, I do project management? And he said, yes, that's what your job is. That's basically what you do every day. And I was like, but no one's mentioned the term. So that's when I learned about it. After 3 years and 2 degrees, and that's when I learned that's what I was actually doing the whole time. I've been a project coordinator, I've been a program manager, project manager, IT project manager, Salesforce project manager, director, and a technical PM.
My name is Eris Rembert. I'm a systems analyst, and I've been in project management for almost 9 years now. So my dad was a general contractor for construction, and I wanted to follow in his footsteps. So I studied drafting and design technology and building construction, and got into a project administrative role, and then project coordinator, and then PMO analyst, and then project analyst, program coordinator, and then systems analyst.
My name is Pascal No. I am a project manager, and I've been in the project management industry officially for 1.5 years, but unofficially for about 6 years. So my professional journey started in education, so I taught middle school math for 5 years. In the classroom, I did enjoy it, but that wasn't my calling. I just happened to stumble upon education. And so I had to really think to myself, what's next for me? So there was a curriculum project that I worked on, and it came into my mind, okay, project management. So then I went to NYU and got my master's in project management and took my career to the next level. So after I left teaching, I was an operations associate at my school, and that kind of built up the momentum. Okay, what can I do next to get out of this school? So then I was an operations associate for a virtual company as soon as the pandemic hit. And then I was just working towards getting to an official project manager role.
My name is Edie Hayes. I'm a talent strategist for a top tech firm and also the founder and CEO of Her Career Cafe. I've been in HR for 17 years. Well, originally when I started my educational journey in undergrad, I thought I wanted to be in finance or accounting. And I failed managerial accounting. And I was like, you know what? I don't like numbers, I like people more. And honestly, back then, I literally looked in the catalog and was like, yeah, this sounds good. This HR thing, let me take a few classes. And I had some professors at my two-year college that just changed my perspective, and it's been a great journey since. Straight out of undergrad, I started as a recruiting coordinator. I've been a diversity project manager. I've been a recruiter, a senior recruiter, the HBCU strategist for campus recruiting. I've been a diversity campus manager, and currently I'm a talent strategist.
So there's been plenty of times that I felt like the only in the project management industry, the only woman or the only Black woman in the room. I've had experiences where I remember one experience I went into a boardroom for an IT meeting that was an emergency IT meeting, and one of the directors, not knowing that I was the lead on the project, asked me to go get him coffee in front of everyone, and that was demeaning to me. I'm used to usually always being on these very large-scale projects and being the only Black woman and having my opinion doubted and having to be validated by other counterparts. And so that's one example. I remember being on one project where I worked on this project, multi-million-dollar healthcare project for months, and it was the last week of the project. And I remember the outside consultant asking me to switch documents. And at the time, everything was virtual, no video meetings. And I remember switching my screens, and she saw my picture in the upper right-hand corner of my email. And when she saw I was Black, she immediately demanded that I be pulled off the project. And I remember my executive team checking everything was fine with the project, and coming to me saying they knew it was unfair, but telling me that I could no longer be on the project for the last 7 days of the project, and putting one of my white counterparts on the project. And then they asked me to silently dial in and give her all the answers. And I remember the consultant afterwards saying that she had such a great experience. She hated the first one, but she had such a great experience with this new project manager who really didn't know anything because she wasn't on the project. And anyone who knows, like any large-scale healthcare project, there's nothing you can turn around in 7 days. And so my executive team, they acknowledged that it was unfair, but I was still in that situation. So that was one of the things that stuck with me throughout my career.
I felt like the only in the project management industry quite a few times. The first time was when I did a temporary project in California, and going into our meeting room, our daily meetings, and I think I was one of 2 women there, only Black person there. So I was like, oh God, don't nobody ask me shit, please. I don't even know about my project yet. So I'm just there. This is like the first week I was there. But luckily, they were just like, Sarita, we're going to give you a pass. You don't have to answer anything about your project since you just got here. I was like, okay, cool. Kind of felt like, well, you could have asked me something, but they didn't. And I'm glad they didn't. But then after that, yeah, it was that same energy. It was all men. And I was just like, ooh, wow. So when it did come time for me to actually talk about my project, I was ready. I was on point. You're not going to just sit here and look at me some type of way. I already feel uncomfortable. That was early on though, because throughout my career, the more I became uncomfortable, the more I became solid. And I guess that's from watching Scandal. I was like, I'm gonna tune into my Olivia Pope, and I'm gonna get this shit done. I'm gonna just do it. You know what I'm saying? So, I was ready. I was always on point no matter what. But it's weird because it's like, why should you have to feel that way? Why do you have to work extra hard? Why do you have to be constantly on point and not mess up? So the pressure was there too. The most significant time I felt super uncomfortable, but I still channeled my Olivia Pope, was when I was working in Dubai and I was the host for the PMI international meeting that we had for the Khaliji UAE chapter. And I was the MC. I did the morning, like the opening keynote. And I'm talking about sitting in a room with hundreds of people, garbed up, white, all you see is white and black, royals, all that. I was just like, woo! And they just looking serious as I don't know what. I was like, ah, woo, Lord, please help me. So, but you can't resist my charisma, hunty. So I went and did my thing. I ain't cuss. I didn't want to go to jail. But I did my thing, did my speech, everything. I was ready, prepared. So, but it still makes you feel weird because you're like, wow, I am the only person here. And to tell you the truth, they looking at you like, yeah, who are you? Why are you here? So it's getting those looks, but still standing your ground and saying, yeah, I deserve to be here. Don't look at me like that, bitch. So, yeah.
I would say within this industry, I think we all somewhat feel like the only Black woman in the industry. Even if it's just like a few speckles in the room of people who are like, oh, I see you in that corner. I see, like, okay, there's somebody that looks like me in this particular industry. So I've always been, and I've always seen one of a few when it comes to project management, especially as you continue to rise into these different levels and advance in the career. One thing that's a little bit unique and interesting, as I was in project management, whether it was at that project coordinator role or advancing into the director role, I've always felt like the managers have always been on my side in terms of providing me tools and resources to continue to elevate. So I'm very blessed when it comes to that. It just seems like God always put the right people into the right place for me, even if I was the only in the room or one of a few. Those managers stood beside me. They were my cheerleaders. They were right by my side when it came to opportunities that I didn't even have any idea or concept about. So I always felt like I was put in the right position. And then being able to help other people within the industry as well, kind of get and pull them forward into project management. That does not mean that didn't come with some naysayers who weren't my manager, who had things to say or didn't like the way that I operated. But the fact that I had the backing of my managers always in support of me and could see the ambition and opportunity for me to continue to rise in the industry always became like a part of my safety net, and as well as being able to speak up for myself in some of those rooms. Starting out, it wasn't always easy for me to speak up for myself, even when some of those managers saw more in me than I saw in myself. So being able to do that as I gradually went up the ranks in project management was just something that was beautiful. It was a great transition. It was allowed me to see growth. So being the only in the industry doesn't always have to be that. You might find yourself having an affiliate and somebody who's on your side across the way.
The time that I felt like the only Black in the industry, every job I've had, like literally every company I worked for, every job I've had, I felt that way. Like project management, Black women in project management, it's very lonely. One specific time, I remember being on the site and being the only woman, the only Black person, tall, short, like literally I was the whole minority. And in a male-dominated industry, they didn't even have a female or woman's bathroom at the construction site. And literally, I knew better. I knew that I needed to go to the restroom before I went to the site. But in 2020, like literally you should have a male and a female bathroom. And when I literally left the site, I asked my program manager, I said, do you still go to the bathroom before you go to the site? And she was like, yes. Like, we gotta change this.
Specifically in the industry, when I was getting my master's, I was the only in the cohort. There was 3 Black women in the entire cohort, and many of my classes, I was the only Black woman in there. And in another instance, currently I'm training as a technical account manager, and I'm also the only female and the only Black female in the company at the moment.
I felt like the only Black woman in the workplace pretty much every day. So working in HR, working with a lot of executives and hiring managers, oftentimes I'm the Black girl, the only one, or I should say woman, right, professional. And then I also feel, when you add age on top of it and you're working with compliance and employment law and you're just telling someone that they can or can't do something, it comes with a lot of pushback. And so, finding myself as the only Black woman in the room makes that very challenging, especially if you don't have allies. If I give you a very specific example, and this happened maybe a couple of years into my career. I was a recruiter and I was working with a hiring manager, and I said, hey, we're looking at your hire plan, how much progress we've made. Let's talk about your highlights, your lowlights. What are we looking for, strategy moving forward? And he told me in a room full of, folks on the team, all higher than me, that he wanted more colored people. And he was very confident in that. And that's one of many times that people felt comfortable enough to say racist shit to me. And they, a lot of times you gotta get to work and you gotta have tough skin, and you gotta be okay, and you have to forgive and you gotta let stuff slide when those expectations are not set for them. And so it's a challenge of being that only person. Some days I'm okay. Some days I can walk and say, hey, this is a good opportunity to, teach a little something. But when it's very intentional and you feel like you're being bullied at work, who do you go to? So it has been very challenging. In that same position, that same hiring manager also decided that in an email thread with several folks on it, and I had just got my master's in HR. I was super proud of getting my master's, and I put the MHR in behind my name, and he caught it, and he said, what does that stand for? And he made his own acronym for it in front of everybody on the email. So, you can't, if I was to say something to go off, I wouldn't have been given any grace. So that's what it feels like to be the only every single day in corporate.
I remember one specific moment. We were having a meeting and there were lots of project managers in the room. And they said, turn to the person next to you and tell them the most honest thing you can think of. And I said, well, I can never mess up. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, if you look around the room, I'm the only person that looks like me in this room. I'm also the most certified person in this room. So it feels like I had to be to get into this room. And in order for others behind me to get a chance, I can't mess up. And she said, that's a lot of weight. I say, it's every day. And it was eye-opening for her, and I'm sure too much honesty, but it was necessary. And I'm happy I told her.
The way that I open doors for women in project management is through the PMP certification. Now, statistics say you get a 20% increase when you get the piece of paper, but if you work with me, you get like a 30. I have even had some clients get 60% increases. And let me be very clear, it is not about the money, it's what the money can do for you. I mean, paying off car loans, traveling, putting their kids in private school. So this PMP certification, like I said, it's not about the money, it's about the tools, it's about what it can afford you.
The way that I see myself opening doors with women in project management is through my company, the PM Suite. I not only have been able to make that leap, retire from corporate America at 33 to start my own company, but be able to help entrepreneurs in their business in ways that I've been able to do for corporations for years with billion-dollar projects. So to be able to do that and support other people in the community is just one tier or one element of me being able to support others. The other way that I make sure that I'm a lot more intentional in doing that is by way of having supporting project managers who are already in corporate, who are trying to make that transition into being an entrepreneur themselves, start their own consultancy company. So it's pretty much twofold: supporting entrepreneurs, more times than not, I'm working with African American businesses who are trying to, improve their operations and structure, which is great. But I'm also supporting other project managers who are like, hey, I know I have decades worth of experience in project management. I know I need to apply this in other areas. I feel like I'm undervalued in the company that I'm working for, and I know I can do this on my own. How can I do this? So being able to support project managers become entrepreneurs is just something that's close to my heart. I get excited about doing it every time. I feel like it's just something that gets me excited. I like to hear people's business ideas. So being able to support other project managers or anyone within the project management industry make that leap from corporate to becoming their own CEO is something that I'm really excited about and happy that I can give back.
On Instagram, my handle is a Black PMP. And one, I wanted people to easily find me. At first, it was really hard for me to find anyone that looked like me because I wanted to talk to someone who was in project management who could tell me, is this normal? Am I supposed to feel like I don't really belong here? Or are they asking too much of me? Is this normal? I have 14 projects, 14 accounts. Is this normal? Like, I had no one to go to. And with my platform on a Black PMP, I want to be that voice. I want to be that person for people. If you don't know how much to ask for, if you're not sure what types of project management roles are out there, I want to be the person you can ask. I also helped so many individuals get $50,000, $60,000 additional in their new role as a project manager. And it was because they were too afraid to ask. I'm the person you can say, I want 114K, I want 125K. And you say that boldly without whispering it. Being the person that you can talk to and ask the questions that you might feel like are dumb questions, or you are nervous about knowing what the true answer is, I'm that person. So I'm hoping that doing that is opening up the doors for so many other women who can do the same thing for people behind them.
99% of my clients as a business owner are Black women. So those are, people that look like me, have some similarities in their experience, their background, their education. But what I find is that a lot of times they don't have as much clarity, knowledge. They don't know maybe the value of their job or their skill set in the market. And so looking at it from two different perspectives, right? Personal and professional. So I'm sitting in a boardroom with all these, people that usually don't look like me, and I'm hearing how they're responding to people that look like us. And it hurts. And so trying to be a voice for them to say, hey, let's think about this differently, or I expect you to tell me why you're not giving that offer, that project management, that coordinator role to this person versus this person. So I'm gonna make you, per compliance, tell me, no grace. And so being able to give that perspective to the women of project management to say, this is how I want you to show up, here's what you're probably gonna face, and here's how you're gonna, accomplish getting through that, and making sure that they have a cheerleader and someone to hold them accountable.
For me, the way I'm opening doors and doing my best to do that in this industry is just creating this platform for women of project management. It's important to me to have a platform and a safe space for other Black women, other women in this industry to know that they do belong, especially as a Black woman working in this industry and feeling like the only for such a big part of my career. I want to make sure that we're creating spaces to support each other in all aspects of our careers. So that's one of the ways that I am doing my part to opening up doors for other women to show them the opportunities that this industry has to hold for them.
I'm opening doors for other women in project management by simply telling them that this is even a career option. I had no idea. Like I said, I was doing it long before I even knew it existed. So whenever I see another woman doing what I do, I let them know, hey, you can make money doing this. You know that this can be an entire career. So I let them know, hey, this exists and you can do it too.
I am open doors for future Black women in project management by just showing my true authentic self, for one. Now when I'm in meetings, like you see me like all dressed up now, yes honey, this is how it is. I rock the big earrings. I have my hoops on, you know, like especially if you're working from home, then I'm real comfortable. Because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have my shirt that might say something crazy. But luckily I'm in environments and work cultures now that they want you to come as you are. But I'm still gonna be me. And I think more women need to see people being who they are. There's so much stigma around, oh, don't wear your hair like this, or make sure you have a suit on, you know, or make sure you dress the part. How come you just can't be yourself? I can't rock my like Airs, I can't rock my Air Ones with it, I can't wear my hoops. So I think I'm being that light for people, for women out here, because I'm like, yes honey, I'm a doctor honey. Don't get it twisted. I'm smart, but I'm still me, you know, and I want to show that authenticity and show that you can be successful and still be yourself. Because if you're comfortable in yourself, there's nothing but success waiting for you. People need to catch that elevation and catch up to you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how I'm helping my babies out here in this world, in this project management.
Being a part of the Women of Project Management community is literally like the cornerstone of project management. Like it is the true foundation of how you can continue to, one, enter the industry if you're just starting out, learn more about the industry if you're already in it, and find opportunities for elevation if you're already at the senior level. I feel like Women of Project Management community pretty much touches on each of those different seasons wherever you are in project management. Another great thing about the community is they allow you to see your worth. Sometimes we're in silos and don't understand how great we have it or how awesome we are. Women of Project Management is truly like a community that rallies behind one another. They teach you different tactics, resources, financially, educationally, in terms of like, okay, this is something that I can actually do. I didn't even know that was possible for me. I didn't even know this resource existed. I didn't even know we could even ask for that at the table when it comes to annual review. I didn't know some of these questions are being said in the boardrooms. I didn't know this was going to advance me in this way. So, and we keep it real. It's not just having those behind the scene questions that are, a lot of times we feel like we're behind the curtain and we don't really know, but we also keep it real to say, girl, today just wasn't a great day and this is what happened on my project. Today wasn't the best and my manager told me this. What are some ways that I can improve? Is it something that I'm doing? Is this something that I need to take to HR? Like having those real down-to-earth conversations with women in the community has just been beyond a blessing, and I'm really excited to be a part of the community.
This community is so important because it just kind of opened a door that I just didn't know exist. It leads into conversations and opportunities to be with other women that are in the industry that I don't think without it I wouldn't have found, especially when I made my transition from education into project management. I did it all by myself. I had no help. People were like, well, why do you want to leave teaching? It's so comfortable. But for me, I was like, it's time for a change. And so I did all the research on my own and actually joined the community. I wish I had found it sooner. I probably would have saved a lot of money without having to go into grad school. But that's still my journey and I'm appreciative of it. And in this community, I'm just really looking forward to building those relationships, networking, and meeting other people and just growing in my profession.
Who doesn't want a community where they feel appreciated and they feel that, again, they feel seen and valued? A lot of times when I'm talking to other members of Women of Project Management, it's typically some advice that someone else is a SME at. Like they can answer with their eyes closed, and that may change someone's whole perspective, their whole strategy, where they see themselves in their career, or how they deal with navigating the workplace because of a community. And that's something that I absolutely love. That's something that even 17 years in the game, I don't always have that in my corner. And sometimes those people look like me at work too, and they're not for me. So find a community that supports me, loves me, and is authentic with me is absolutely invaluable.
Being a part of this community is so important because of 4 words. You are not alone. Every woman, every person wants to be seen, heard, and understood, and this community does exactly that. You get to be a part of a collective of women that understand your challenges, your triumphs, and everything in between. So basically, you can belong here.
I'm so proud of being part of the community. I mean, if I'm being honest, I am so proud of being a part of this community. I've told senior management and CEOs about this company and this community of women. During 2020, there were so many initiatives to make sure that they were reaching out and finding diversity. And the first group that I thought of was Women of Project Management. I'm proud to be a part. I think it's so important that we see one another. I don't think that we get to see one another glow and shine and move up in the ranks and be able to have a bad day and say, listen, y'all, my project's failing. What do I do? You know, how do I turn it around? I'm nervous about being fired. What do I do? Having those conversations and having a community of women, from people with their doctorates all the way to people who just want to know more about the industry, this is the community for you. You can have any question answered, whether it's wanting a prayer before you take the PMP, how do you fill out your application? All of those things are answered for you inside of the membership, and I love it. I'm glad to be a part.
I love being a part of this community. And I just wish that I found it when I was, starting my career or even just being in Atlanta at the time. I found out about this community while I was in Dubai. So I was just like, where? You're in Atlanta, girl? But it's just important because you need to see other people. You need that representation. You need to see it because you will be lonely and you think you're the only one. When you're not. It's a whole bunch of us out here doing it, getting it done, helping others, bringing our sisters up. Like, we handling this queen shit every day. And you need to see that. And if you're a part of a community that, exemplifies that and, embraces that and wants all of us to come together and just connect and network and help each other out, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to be a part of. I love it.
Women of Project Management. Literally, I remember when I met Aisha on Instagram. I got in those DMs and we met for lunch, and I've been a member ever since because let me be clear, my friends are very supportive. They're very high up in their careers, VPs, directors, but they still don't get me. Like, they have no idea what I do day to day. They have no idea how to support me. But Women of Project Management, when I get on those Saturday calls, I don't care if I had a client, boot camp, I get on those calls and my energy level goes through the roof. I feel supported, I feel poured into. Aisha thinks that I'm giving, but I'm also receiving. So Women of Project Management is my jam.
So being a part of the Women of Project Management community is so important, and the reason why I created it is because I don't want another Black woman to have that same experience that I felt of feeling so lonely in this industry and not understanding what the opportunities are for them, not understanding all the things that they can do with this industry, and then also to know that they can thrive in this industry as well. So I want to be able to at least have this space and then have other women in this community so we can all support each other, so no one has to feel the way I felt when I started this career and just felt like I was the only.
When I came across the Women of Project Management profile on Instagram, I was literally blown away. Like, it makes me emotional. Meeting Aisha and the rest of the team. I just felt like, you know, I had accepted it, but I figured out that I could have so much more. You know, if I would have had the community earlier, you know, things would have been different. So I'm just grateful, and I'm so happy to be a part of the team.
Big bands feeling generous. Got a big house, that's my preference. Sitting pretty at the top, Mount Everest. Yeah, I'm bossy, dripping sauce. Cast spells like I'm Severus. Puffing on the best asparagus. Take my sweet time, never in a rush. Cause I'm bossy, dripping sauce. Leo, rising, I am so inspiring. CEO, my title, my videos go viral. Take a good look at the fit, lit from my head to my toes. They all wanna sip of the drip, watch out when they getting too close. Big bands feeling generous.